My sister was obsessively protective of me, her younger brother. When she was 10, she was nearly abducted, but I took her place in the kidnapper's car. I was eventually ransomed back, but the kidnappers had slashed my face and broken both my legs. From then on, my sister's protectiveness morphed into a fierce obsession. Anyone who dared even mock me would find themselves with broken limbs, their heads practically twisted off by her fury. I became her one vulnerability, the person nobody could touch. Later, my sister built herself into a powerful CEO determined to heal me. She spent a fortune sending me overseas for treatment. The day I finally recovered completely, I received an invitation to her engagement party. Filled with excitement, I returned home with a gift, only to be accosted and assaulted by my prospective brother-in-law, who mistook me for a kept man. Well, look what we have here. The pretty boy finally shows his face. Thought you'd hide abroad like a coward forever. Mark roared. Before I could react, he swung a golf club, hitting me hard on the head. Pain exploded as I stumbled back, shielding my head, tripping and falling to the ground. You're mistaken, I tried to say, but Mark shoved a metal bar into my mouth, ramming it twice hard. Agony shot through my mouth, and a metallic taste of blood filled my throat, choking me until I coughed up blood. Mistaken my ass. Don't think I don't know you sweet-talked Chloe into buying you this mansion, he spat. You found out Chloe and I are getting engaged, so you came crawling back to interfere, didn't you? Even if you fail, you can still leech off her like the parasite you are. Today, I'm going to teach you the price of being a homewrecker. He kicked me, sending me sprawling. The back of my head struck the sharp corner of the coffee table, instantly splitting open. Panic and anger surged through me, swallowing blood. Tate gasped out, "You're really mistaken. I'm Chloe's actual brother. She texted me just a few days ago asking me to come back for the engagement party." Mark paused, stunned. A large man behind him leaned and whispered, "Boss, I've heard she has a brother who's been abroad for years, but none of us have ever seen him. Heard they're twins." Mark glanced at my face. Twins? This pretty boy looks nothing like Chloe. Just then, another burly man with a scarred face entered. It was Blade, one of my sister's oldest and most trusted men. He knew me, Blade. "It's me, Alex," I managed to croak out. Blade froze, looking towards me. "Who's this kid? How does he know me?" Blade was puzzled, but Mark raised the metal bar again and struck me across the mouth. Pain silenced me completely as I clutched my bleeding lips. "He's the pretty boy I told you about. Probably just overheard the others greeting you," Mark said dismissively. Blade shook his head. "No, he seemed to say his name was Alex. Alex is the young master's name. Not many people would know that." He strode over, tilting my face up to examine it closely. "This face looks nothing like the young master." My heart sank. He hadn't seen me since my reconstructive surgery. Wait, Blade suddenly remembered. The young master was sent abroad for plastic surgery. "Have you had work done?" Hope flared in my eyes as I nodded frantically. "Yes, I'm your young master." Mark's coughed beside him. He lives off his looks. "Isn't it normal for a pretty boy like him to have plastic surgery?" Blade held up a hand to silence him. "A face can be faked, but identity documents can't." "Search him." Two thugs grabbed me, pinning me down as they started searching my pockets. I struggled furiously, earning a hard slap across the face from Mark. "Stay still, tie him up." They bound me tightly, the humiliation burning as they roughly patted me down. Blade watched, a little hesitant. "You beat him up pretty badly." "Oh, what if he really is the young master?" Mark just chuckled, offering him a cigarette. "What's there to be afraid of? I'm about to marry Chloe. Even if I roughed up her brother a bit due to a misunderstanding, it just shows how much I love her. She'll forgive me." Blade took a drag from the cigarette and nodded. True enough. Soon they pulled out my identification. Mark snatched it. I looked at it and burst out laughing. "See, told you the kid was lying." Blade leaned in, slowly reading the name aloud. "Jason. He then flipped open my graduation certificate. Jack, he's definitely an imposter. The young master's name is Alex, and he wasn't sent to the UK, he went to France. My heart plummeted. After the incident years ago, my sister had moved my official residency, secretly changing my name to use our mother's surname. She didn't want me targeted again, so she hadn't told anyone. Had she hidden my real destination from everyone, too, just to protect me? Oh, sister, your protection is going to get me killed. I panicked internally. Blade's expression turned icy. How dare this kid impersonate the young master? Beat him. I was shoved back to the floor, preened on with fists and kicks. My phone slipped from my pocket as the screen lit up. Blade saw my locked screen wallpaper clearly. His face changed dramatically. Hold on! The photo was of me and my sister together. Blade picked up the phone, his hand trembling slightly. Is this your phone? He asked me. I nodded desperately. Mark beside him just sneered. Blade, it's just a picture. Maybe the kid photoshopped it beforehand. I made urgent noises, trying to signal for Blade to unlock the phone and look inside. Understanding dawned on him. He held the phone up to my face, unlocking it with facial recognition, and opened my chat history with my sister. Really, as the boss saved as his sister, Blade exclaimed, shocked. Mark grabbed the phone from him. These manipulative pretty boys always call women sister to latch onto rich older women. Don't fall for it. He scrolled up a couple of times, then his face contorted with rage. What the hell? She not only bought you a mansion, but she calls you baby, and says she never wants to be separated from you again. I wanted to explain, but the pain in my mouth was too intense. Chloe only had me, her only family. She didn't want me living abroad forever, since childhood. No one had ever dared lay a finger on me. Now her own fiancé had beaten me like this, leaving me unable to even speak. Her own man didn't recognize me. Sister, it hurt so much. Thinking this, silent tears streamed down my face, making Blade frown. His personality is actually quite like the young master's. Sensitive, cries easily when wronged. Maybe we should investigate further. The boss absolutely dotes on the young master. If he really is him, we're all in deep trouble. Mark nodded slowly. All right, I'll make a call then. If he really is Chloe's brother, I'll take responsibility for what I did. But if he's not, his face suddenly twisted into a menacing snarl. I'll make this pretty boy regret ever being born. He ordered the thugs to gag me again, then dialed my sister's number. Hey honey, you mentioned a few days ago that your brother was coming back for our engagement party. Do you know exactly when he's arriving? I want to prepare a welcome gift for him, so I thought I'd ask. My sister's happy voice came through the phone. How thoughtful of you! He said he should be back tomorrow night. A chill went down my spine. It's over. I had specifically changed my flight to today to give her a surprise. Mark's gaze on me turned venomous. If he hung up now, I was finished. I bit down hard. The thug holding my mouth yelped in pain and loosened his grip. Sister, help me. I screamed with all my remaining strength. Mark's face paled. He lunged, kicking me down again and stomping on my mouth. On the phone, my sister sounded hesitant. Did I just hear someone shout, Sister, help me? Mark forced a smile. Just the TV. Since your brother's arriving soon, I need to hurry and prepare his gift. Talk later. The call ended. Despair washed over me. Excruciating pain shot from my mouth as Mark pressed down harder with his foot. You damn liar. Almost fell for your trick. Tears streamed down my face from the pressure, but he still wasn't satisfied. Looking at my tear-streaked face, Mark's eyes flashed with intense jealousy. So, this is the face you used to seduce Chloe, huh? She'd already decided to marry me, yet she still buys you a huge mansion. I thought behind him tried to reason with him. Actually, it's not that strange. Big bosses like ours often keep lovers on the side. Since the boss likes him, maybe we should let him go? Anyway, You're the one marrying the boss. Might as well turn a blind eye. Blade chimed in. Yeah, you're the official partner. He can't possibly outrank you. Mark's expression wavered as he seemed to consider it. An infinite wave of bitterness surged within me. I was her actual brother. Yet I was being beaten like a common gigolo. My sister had terrible taste in men. When I saw her, I would absolutely demand she call off this engagement. Mark noticed the hatred in my eyes. His momentary hesitation vanished, replaced by fury. You dare glare at me, pretty boy. Even if I don't kill you today, I'll ruin you. He lifted his foot, pulled a knife from his pocket, and slashed it towards my face. No, I screamed in pain, but Mark only quickened his movements. When you're an ugly freak, Chloe will definitely like me best. Sharp pain lanced through me again and again. I almost fainted. This face Chloe had spent a fortune finding top specialists, taking 3 long years to reconstruct it. Now he was destroying it. Chloe would never let him get away with this. You're dead me. I ground out through clenched teeth. This completely enraged Mark. Damn you! You dare curse me! He moved the knife towards my lips. Curse me. Go on, curse me. I felt a sharp, numbing pain across my lips, and then I couldn't form a single word. Mark was about to continue when the distinct click-clack of high heels echoed from outside the door. But what brings you here? It was my sister. Sister was here. I struggled to sit up, but a sharp pain shot through the back of my knee. Mark had struck me there with the metal bar. I collapsed instantly. Lade's face went pale. Quick, hide him, he urged Mark. Or if the boss sees this, she'll definitely lose it. Hurry. Mark and the thugs dragged me into the adjacent kitchen. Just as the sliding door closed, my sister walked in. Blade, didn't I tell you to get this filler ready quickly? Where are the things? I just got here myself. Boss, the stuff's still in the car. I'll have them bring it in now. Blade took the remaining 2 thugs side to unload. My sister walked around inside, her heels clicking on the floor as she inspected the place. The renovation looks good. He'll definitely like it. Is this the kitchen? She asked the designer nearby, reaching out to push the door open. Seeing her silhouette through the frosted glass door, tears burst from my eyes. Sister, hurry, come in and save me. My sister slowly pushed the door open. When she saw Mark hiding inside and me lying on the floor, her eyes widened in shock. Mark, what are you doing here? Who is he? Why is he covered in blood? My sister frowned, pointing at me on the ground. Sister, it's me. Recognize me, please. My body was bound. I could only wriggle desperately on the floor. Kinda move towards her. Mark kicked me in the face. Damn it. Stay still. Kick left me dizzy and seeing stars. I moaned, trying to force out words for my sister. Sis. This enraged Mark even more. He kicked me in the mouth again. Damn you, pretty boy. You dare call her sister right in front of me? Hearing my voice, my sister shuddered. She knelt down, carefully examining my face. Before she could recognize me, Mark spoke first, his voice thick with faint hurt. Honey, you don't have to tell me. I know he's the pretty boy you keep hidden abroad, right? You bought this mansion for him, too. Originally, I didn't mind. You're so successful. It's understandable to have someone on the side. Mark's eyes reddened with pretend grievance, his voice choking up. I just wanted to see what it was about him that made you like him so much. I can learn. I can be just like him. Then maybe you'll love me a little more, too. My sister was moved by his choked voice. She stood up and pulled him into her embrace. What silly things are you saying? I told you I only love you. Otherwise, why would I agree to marry you, silly boy? This house is for my brother. Isn't he coming back tomorrow? I wanted to surprise him, so I didn't tell anyone. You misunderstood. Wait, you still haven't told me who he is. I don't keep any pretty boys on the side. My sister looked confused, gesturing towards me again. Mark seemed to finally connect the dots, his face turning deathly pale. He's some pretty boy who offended me. Blade and I just taught him a lesson. My sister frowned. Offended you? Then he deserved a lesson. But you shouldn't have brought him into my brother's villa. It's bad luck bringing bloodshed into a new house before it's even properly used. It's inauspicious. Hearing my sister's stern criticism, Mark's voice rumbled. I understand. I'll have someone drag this kid out and dispose of him cleanly right now. Then I'll get a statue of a deity to ward off the bad luck tomorrow. I'll personally apologize to your brother. He won't hold it against me. Honey? My sister gave a faint smile. My brother has a very good temper. He definitely won't blame you. I was being lifted by the thugs and carried out. Panic seized me. Mark's idea of disposal definitely meant silencing me permanently. He must have guessed who I might be by now. He couldn't risk it. He needed absolute certainty. Realizing this, I struggled violently against the thugs, earning another slap. Kid, you mess with me. Now you die. Dragged him out quickly. Mark urged them on. Just then, Blade walked in, carrying a statue of the kitchen god. Seeing my sister's displeased expression, he immediately sidled up, trying to curry favor. Boss, please don't be angry. We didn't want to draw blood either. But this kid insisted on impersonating your brother. Mark frantically tried to shut him up, but it was too late. My sister instantly caught the key phrase, her voice turning ice cold. What did you say? He impersonated Alex? Blade nodded eagerly, trying to please her. Yes, and he wasn't even convincing. We checked his ID. Doesn't have the young master's name at all. He fawningly handed all my documents to my sister. My sister stared at my ID card, her face draining of color. How can this be? Seeing her eyes turn red and her body tremble, Blade quickly added, Boss, this kid's name is clearly Jason. He kept yelling he was the young master. Almost fooled the future boss, too. Luckily, I've been with you for a long time, boss. I know the young master's name is Alex, and I know you sent him to France, not the UK. This kid was about to die and still dared to impersonate the young master. Good thing I arrived in time to see through his lies. Blade grew prouder as he spoke, looking at my sister expectantly for praise. Hearing this, Mark's eyes darted around and he immediately started distancing himself. Yes, it was Blade who arrived just in time, exposed the kid's lies and even beat him up. My sister, her face etched with pain, dropped to my documents and rushed towards me. She snatched me from the thug's grasp, holding me close as tears fell. Alex, is it you? I nodded weakly, struggling to open my mouth and whisper, Sis. Blade's face contorted in shock. Boss, this kid is lying to you. Before he could finish, my sister stood up and slapped him hard across the face. Shut up! Before sending my brother abroad, I personally changed his name. Chin is my mother's surname. I told no one precisely so he wouldn't be targeted by enemies again. Blade clutched his face, bewildered. But I personally saw the young master board the plane to France. You don't know anything, that was also a diversion. I had him fly to France first, then transferred to Switzerland. That way no one could track him. Tears streamed down my sister's face as she spoke, and she hugged me tightly again. Alex, who hurt you like this? Call an ambulance now. Thug ran off to make the call. Blade collapsed onto the floor. If anything happens to Alex, I want you dead. My sister roared. Blade's face turned ashen, but then another thought struck him. Boss, we called you earlier. You said the young master wasn't coming back until tomorrow. Could this guy have stolen the young master's documents? Is he an imposter? My sister paused, a flicker of desperate hope in her eyes. She loved me so much. Naturally, she didn't want to accept that the mangled person in her arms was me. So she gently placed me back on the floor and took out her phone to call me. A ringtone sounded from Mark's pocket. He fumbled for the phone, handing it to my sister like a hot potato, his hand shaking. Honey, I found this phone on the ground outside. Is it your brother's? My sister snatched the phone, pressed the power button. The lock screen photo appeared. Tears streamed down her face. It's his. This photo, we took it when I visited him for Christmas 2 years ago. Mark looked utterly distraught. It's all my fault. I didn't even look at the phone when I found it. It's all my fault. My sister gently caressed the photo on the screen, then turned to Blade, her voice cold. Blade, you've been with me for so many years and you can't even recognize Alex's voice. And you heard him like this. Do you admit your mistake? Terrified, Blade prostrated himself on the floor, banging his head repeatedly. Boss, I didn't hurt the young master. It was the future boss. Hey, he didn't finish. Mark shoved a rolling pin into his mouth, blood trickling from the corners. It was him who hurt your brother, honey. You hurt him yourself just now. I was about to accept him as your brother, but Blade told me he wasn't, that he was an imposter, and I believed him. I even let him beat your brother like this. It's all my fault, all my fault. Mark's eyes glinted fiercely. I'll get revenge for your brother right now. He raised the rolling pin and brought it down savagely on Blade. Blade screamed repeatedly. Boss, no, I didn't hit the young master. It was Mark who hit him. I'll teach you to frame me. Mark put all his strength into it, bringing the rolling pin crashing down on Blade's head. Blade's voice stopped abruptly. He collapsed limp. The commotion was giving my sister a headache. Enough. My brother is in critical condition. Stop fighting. By now the ambulance had arrived outside the villa. My sister instructed the 2 remaining thugs to lift me carefully and accompanied me into the ambulance. She ordered her men to bring both Mark and the unconscious Blade to the hospital as well. If my brother's diagnosis isn't good, I'll kill them both immediately. In the ambulance, my sister held my hand tightly, tears streaming down her face. I wanted to wipe them away for her, but darkness overwhelmed me and I passed out. When I woke again, I found myself wrapped in bandages like a mummy and the drip was attached to the back of my hand. Mark and Blade were kneeling nearby, trembling. Alex, you're awake, my sister immediately called for a doctor and reassured me. Don't be afraid. This is my private hospital. The doctors are excellent. They'll fix you up quickly. The doctor came over, checked my pupils and listened to my heart. He let out a long breath. Boss, the young master's main injury is the knock to the back of his head, causing a concussion. He fainted earlier due to the prolonged abuse and the sudden release after extreme stress. It's nothing too serious. With some IV fluids, medication, and about half a month of rest, he should be fine. My sister relaxed slightly. Will there be any long-term effects? The doctor looked uneasy, hesitating. Speak. The young master's face was already disfigured once when he was young. It took multiple surgeries to restore his looks. Now that it's been slashed with a knife again, I'm afraid it will be very difficult to repair. He had been our father's private doctor, and my sister inherited his services. He knew my face was damaged because of my sister, and he knew how important I was to her. He trembled, terrified of being implicated. Furthermore, the young master's lips were cut open by a sharp object. Even after stitches, there will be a scar. I don't know who could be so vicious. They deserve to die. My sister's eyes turned red with fury. She spoke in a chilling tone. Get the previous surgeons here. Fly them into the country. Money is no object. I want it done fast. The doctor scrambled away, nodding frantically. My sister picked up a scalpel from the surgical tray and turned towards the 2 kneeling men, who used a knife to slash my brother's face and cut his lips. Speak! Mark jumped up, pointing frantically at Blade. It was him. The knife is still on him. Blade looked terrified, shaking his head desperately. Boss, I've been with you for so many years. You know me. I have no reason to hurt the young master. I wouldn't do such a cruel thing. My sister nodded slowly and called the 2 thugs back in. Search him. The thugs found the bloody knife on Blade. Blade's face contorted in horror. He pointed furiously at Mark. It was you. You planted it on me while I was unconscious, didn't you? Mark grabbed a pair of surgical scissors from the tray and lunged, stabbing them viciously into Blade's mouth. Blade cried out, clutching his bleeding mouth, unable to speak another word. But Mark wasn't finished. He used the scissors to cut Blade's lips open further. Blade collapsed, writhing in agony. Mark tossed the bloody scissors aside and threw himself at my sister's feet. "Honey, that knife even has his name engraved on it. How could it possibly be mine? Earlier, despite my warnings, he kept waving that knife near your brother's face, asking him if he knew why people called him Blade. Your brother cursed him a couple of times, so he slashed his face, cut his mouth, and disfigured him. It's truly horrible." My sister took the knife. She recognized it as the one she had given Blade years ago. She didn't know that Mark had asked Blade for it just that morning. Blade, not wanting to offend the soon-to-be boss's husband, had reluctantly given it to him. He had no idea that this act would seal his fate. "Blade, you've been with me for so many years. Not only did you fail to recognize the young master, but you also harmed him so viciously. Tell me, how should I punish you?" My sister ground out, her eyes filled with murderous intent. Blade's eyes bulged with terror. Clutching his bleeding mouth, he shook his head frantically, making muffled noises. He pulled out his phone, gesturing that he could type the truth for her. My sister hesitated, about to agree, but Mark kicked the phone out of Blade's hand. Then he raised the scissors and brutally stabbed Blade's hands. "Yeah," Blade screamed, clutching his hands, as he rolled on the floor, countless puncture wounds blooming across them. Mark showed no mercy. "These are the hands. You used to ruin my brother's face. I'll cripple them." Stab after stab, Mark used the scissors to sever the tendons in all 10 of Blade's fingers. Blade finally succumbed to the agony and passed out completely. "Honey, the doctor said my brother's face will be hard to fix. It's so tragic. He should taste what it's like to be disfigured too." Mark threw down the scissors, wiping fake tears from his eyes as he sobbed dramatically. My sister nodded and clapped her hands, summoning the 2 thugs again. "The future boss says it was Blade who injured the young master's face. You were there. Tell me what happened. Lie to me and I'll kill you." The 2 thugs had witnessed Blade's horrific ordeal and their legs were trembling. At my sister's question, they immediately fell to their knees. Mark shot them a fierce glare. They glanced at Blade, lying like a broken doll on the floor, barely breathing. They knew Blade was finished. Yes, it was all Blade boss. The future boss was initially just suspicious, saying he wanted to investigate further. But when Blade arrived, he immediately started hitting the young master. Yes, he even looked at the young master's ID, then called him a liar and said he'd teach him a lesson for you, boss. Then he used the knife to slash the young master's face. The 2 thugs spoke over each other, adding details, pinning all of Mark's actions onto Blade. Each killing intent flashed in my sister's eyes as she looked at the unconscious Blade on the floor. In that case, go ruin his face. The 2 thugs wiped sweat from their foreheads and dragged Blade out like a sack of garbage. My sister followed them out. Soon blood-clear screams echoed from outside the room. My sister came back and uncalmly told me that Blade couldn't withstand the concentrated acid and had stopped breathing. She held my hand and snorted coldly. He got off easy. Mark, standing nearby, revealed a triumphant smile, which made me shiver. But my mouth was stitched shut. I couldn't expose him. In his eyes I saw a flicker of bloodthirsty cruelty. I knew he would find another way to silence me permanently. Only then would my sister never investigate his role. Honey, you must be exhausted after everything today. Let me watch over your brother. You go back and rest, Mark said softly, gently massaging my sister's shoulders and temples. My sister seemed receptive, taking his hand and humming softly. But I'm worried about my brother like this. I just want to stay here with him. We're getting married soon. Your brother is my brother. I was deceived by Blade and kicked him. I need to apologize properly, unless you don't trust me. Mark's eyes welled up with tears as he spoke, appearing deeply remorseful. My sister squeezed his hand back, comforting him gently. You know that wounded look on your face. It reminds me so much of my brother. Don't cry. I'll go back. My sister stood up, touched my face gently, and then, ignoring my terrified gaze, turned and left. Sister, don't go, he'll kill me. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mark sat down by my bedside. He gently picked up the insulated cup nearby and poured me a glass of warm water. Then, as if realizing I couldn't drink normally, he muttered to himself, I need to get a straw, my brother's lips are so chapped from not drinking. Just then, the room door opened again. It was my sister, who had apparently just stepped out. See, you're always so thoughtful. I'll go find a straw right now. She closed the door again. The sound of her high heels faded down the hallway until it was gone. Mark finally dropped the gentle facade. His face turned cold and sinister. She clearly doesn't trust me, pretending to leave just to eavesdrop. Outside the door, his look sent a jolt of fear through me. I quickly grabbed the phone from my bedside table and rapidly typed a message. Blade is dead. I won't tell sister anything else. I don't blame you. You only did it because you love her too much. He read the message, then snatched the phone and burst out laughing. You really understand me. Spoken like my future brother-in-law. I felt a wave of relief. It seemed he had bought it, but in the next second, Mark's expression shifted dramatically. Why does she only have eyes for you? Before you came back, Chloe put me first in everything. If I sneezed, she'd fret for half a day. But ever since you returned, her attention, her heart, it's all focused on you. Even with your face ruined, she still cares about you so much. Why? My heart sank like a stone. So Mark's feelings for my sister had reached this level of pathological obsession. He couldn't even accept me, her actual brother. I whimpered, trying to explain, but he placed my phone just out of reach. Then he pulled a small packet of powder from his pocket and emptied it into my water cup. The doctor mentioned your blood sugar was a bit low earlier. This is a potent hypoglycemic agent. He stirred the water, smiling gently. Just drink this and you'll soon stop hearing anything. Stop being able to speak. Drink this for 3 days straight and you'll become a vegetable. You'll never be able to get between Chloe and me again. When I was a kid, my mom used this method on my abusive father. His words sent chills down my spine. I couldn't stop trembling. Why? What did I do wrong? As if reading my thoughts, his face contorted with savagery. Your mistake was coming back. Why did you have to interfere with Chloe and me? This is the punishment you deserve. Just then, a sound of high heels approached again. Mark immediately fell silent. My sister pushed the door open, holding a straw. Honey, quickly. Give Alex some water. Look how chapped his lips are. Mark smiled, took the straw and inserted it into my mouth. I shook my head frantically, refusing to drink. My sister sighed. Why are you being so disobedient? I told you before. You need to listen. Mark, holding the water cup, also chided me. Yes. Listen to your sister. Drink up. His words cut off abruptly. My sister pulled a syringe needle from his chest, stating coldly, I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about you. I made it very clear. Anyone who tries to harm my brother must die. But seeing as you were my fiancé, I'll give you one chance. My sister clapped her hands and the same two thugs quickly entered. Tie him up. They bound Mark tightly from head to toe, ensuring he couldn't move an inch. From the conversation between my sister and the thugs, everything became clear. When Mark had frantically tried to frame Blade and silence him, my sister had grown suspicious. She ordered Blade taken away, not to be killed, but to be treated. Blade's screams outside the room were staged, just an act for Mark's benefit. The goal was to lower his guard, make him think he was succeeding. My eyes widened in realization and relief. So my sister had known all along it was Mark who hurt me. My sister smiled at me. These past few years, I listened to you, Alex. I stopped getting involved in the kind of business Dad used to run. The corporation is completely legitimate now, even partnering with major firms in New York City. I'm a respected businesswoman now. Why would I kill Blade and Drew in my future? Outside the room just now, those two told me the truth. That Blade was framed. That's when I decided to put on the show. I understood completely, yet I was still puzzled. How she knew Mark would try to harm me again. My sister chuckled. Even though I left, Alex, there are security cameras in this room. When I saw Mark trying to feed you that drug, I nearly lost my mind. So I asked the doctor for a powerful anesthetic, the kind that could knock out a bull. So that was it. Joy filled my heart, but mostly for my sister. Years ago, when she punished those people for me, although she didn't kill them, there was still bloodshed and hefty compensation paid. I truly didn't want her making enemies for my sake ever again. My sister gently stroked my head and smiled. Alex, actually, I should thank you. For years, I wondered how I could guarantee you'd never be harmed again. Finally, I realized the only way was to completely shut down Dad's old operations, to completely overhaul the corporation. It was incredibly difficult. I faced a lot of opposition and danger. But whenever I thought of you living safely abroad, I gritted my teeth and pushed through. Tears blurred my vision, my heart softening. Just then, Mark groaned and regained consciousness. Finding himself bound, he flew into a rage, yelling at the two thugs. How dare you tie me up? And tie me now? I told them to tie you. My sister stood up, looking at him coldly. Mark put on his wounded expression again. Honey, why did you tie me up? What did I do wrong? Don't tell me that pretty boy brother of yours is really more important to you than me. My sister's eyes blazed. How many lives do you think you have compared to him? Don't think I don't know what you were planning to do to him. With that, my sister brought up the security footage on her phone and played it for Mark. Seeing his scheme exposed, Mark dropped the act. Everything I did was for you, Chloe. I love you so much, but you value him more than me. I can't accept it. My sister sneered. Really? Stop making excuses. She swiped her finger across the screen, bringing up more surveillance footage and evidence. For the past 6 months, you've been using your connection to me to take kickbacks and embezzle funds from the company. Did you really think I didn't know? Mark stubbornly stuck out his neck. So what? I'm your fiancé. The company is yours, and eventually half of it will be mine. I was just taking a small advance. My sister shook her head. That money doesn't just belong to me. What you did is illegal. Mark's eyes reddened again as he reverted to his pitiful act. Honey, I know I was wrong. Please forgive me this time. I'll pay back all the money I took. We can use it to fix your brother's face. Okay? You said you'd marry me, that you loved me. I just made a mistake. Give me one more chance, please. I promise I'll treat your brother well. Cherish him. Love him. I'll never be jealous of him again. Honey, I just love you too much. My sister sighed. I believe you love me. That's why I gave you chance after chance. But not only did you show no remorse, you viciously attacked Blade, who I trusted completely, and you nearly killed my brother. I can't trust you anymore. Mark finally snapped, losing all composure and screaming insults at my sister. You bitch! For 3 years, I took care of you, protected you. When someone tried to assassinate you, I took a knife for you. Is this how you repay me? My sister's eyes reddened too. It was because of that incident that I truly believe you were sincere, like my brother. But everything you've done since has broken my heart. You're too dangerous. I won't let you anywhere near my brother again, Mark. The only way I can feel safe is if you spend the rest of your life in prison. With that, my sister ordered the thugs to gag Mark. Then she called the police and her lawyers. The police arrested Mark on charges of attempted murder and malicious injury. My sister's lawyers compiled all the evidence of his embezzlement and kickbacks, filing additional charges. Mark was taken away. My sister let out a long, deep breath. A month later, Mark's trial was published. He was found guilty on multiple counts and sentenced to death with a 2-year reprieve. Even with good behavior, it would likely be commuted to life imprisonment. He would never get out. 3 months later, my sister spared no expense bringing the surgeons, who had originally performed my reconstructive surgery, to her private hospital. Thanks to the excellent immediate care, my facial wounds hadn't become infected and were suitable for revision surgery. The operation was a great success. My face was mostly restored to its former appearance, though a faint scar remained on my upper lip. Blade had also recovered. His hands were functional again, though the doctor said he wouldn't be able to lift heavy things in the future. Seeing his slight disappointment, my sister teased him. "What? Still thinking about playing with your big knives?" Blade waved his hands frantically. "No more, never again." I threw away all my knives, even the small ones. My sister and I burst out laughing. It seemed the ordeal had truly taught him a lesson. He wouldn't be carelessly carrying or gifting knives anymore. 2 years later, I started intern at my sister's corporation. There, I met a gentle, kind-hearted young woman, the kind I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. My sister's eyes misted over as she placed our mother's bracelet onto my girlfriend's wrist. "My brother likes you, so our whole family likes you. I wish you both happiness." I hugged my sister, tears of joy in my eyes. "Sister," she undyed you. "We're a family too. We'll always be happy."